Today's lesson is called Living Shorelines, Using Nature to Fight Nature. Hello everyone, my name is Jeff.
And my name is Helen.
Today, folks, we are going to be learning about living shorelines once again. Living shorelines are awesome, okay? Not only do they reverse erosion, not only do they restore sea life, but they're cheap, okay? Relatively speaking, they're cheap, and they actually do better when it comes to major storms. They do better than traditional seawalls. So what are we waiting for? Let's ditch those traditional seawalls and start erecting living shorelines the world over.
Right. Living shorelines seem like a really important breakthrough in terms of environmental protection. And that's something that we really need these days because of climate change and global warming, which is causing glaciers in the north to melt. And the melting glaciers create water that flow into oceans, and they make oceans, they cause flooding, and they make sea levels rise. And that's why we need natural shorelines to protect the land from rising waters.
There you go. Climate change causes sea levels to rise. So very often, if you are in a low-lying area, your coastline is at risk. Who knows? One day a major storm might wash your shoreline away entirely. Well, that's the case if you don't put up some living shorelines. Hopefully these living shorelines will be able to save the day and to keep some of the more negative aspects of Mother Nature from destroying our shorelines, coastlines, beaches, so on and so forth. Anyways, folks, with that, it is time for us to take a short break, but don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
Many living shoreline projects are focusing on oysters. Oyster reefs are strong barriers. They provide food for other marine life, and they have the additional benefit of filtering pollution from the sea. A single oyster can purify as much as 200 liters of water per day. That makes them an attractive solution in cities dealing with badly polluted waters.
大家好，第一部分我们看到单字 purify 这个字是动词，指净化。例如This machine uses a system of filters to purify the air. 这个机器使用过滤系统来净化空气。另外，补充一个相关动词 cleanse, C-L-E-A-N-S-E, cleanse 意思是净化、清洗。像是 David wanted to cleanse his hands after chopping onions. David 切完洋葱后想要洗手。
So let's dive right into day 2 of our lesson. And the first line says, many living shoreline projects are focusing on oysters. So we saw that already before in the first part of the lesson when we talked about the idea of using oyster shells to create natural shorelines. Now, oyster reefs are strong barriers. They provide food for other marine life, and they have the additional benefit of filtering pollution from the sea. So there are many advantages apparently to having oyster shorelines, and the first one is that they provide food for other animals in the sea, and they also have the benefit of filtering pollution. Now, pollution refers to chemicals and other substances that are harmful, that can cause harm, that exist in the air, water, or land. So, for instance, air pollution is a big problem in developing countries, but here we're talking about water pollution. So oyster reefs can do something about water pollution, which is they can act as a filter to remove pollution from the water. Now, to act as a filter means to pass something through a filter, through an object, to remove particular things that are contained in it. So when you have water that you can't drink directly, for instance, tap water, you need a filter to clean the water, to take the pollution from the water before you can drink it. And that is also the act of filtering the water.
So there you go. The thing that you filter with is called a filter. You can use this word as both a verb and as a noun. And it turns out that these oysters, not only do they provide food for other marine life. Not only are they strong barriers, but they also filter pollution from the sea. And that sounds like a win-win situation to me. By the way, when we're talking about marine life, we're talking about life living in the oceans. That's all that's going on here. Now, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a marine biologist. That means I wanted to study sea life, things that live in the ocean. That's what a marine biologist does.
Right now, a single oyster can purify as much as 200 liters of water per day. That makes them an attractive solution in cities dealing with badly polluted waters. So, in other words, a single oyster can purify or to make something clean. When you purify something, you make it clean by removing dirt or harmful substances from it. So, a single oyster can purify as much as 200 liters of water per day. That's a lot of water that a single oyster can purify to make clean. So because of that, oysters are also a good solution in cities, especially when cities have a problem with badly polluted waters.
There you go. Now, I've read that due to global warming and stuff associated with global warming, that the world's coral reefs are dying out at an alarming rate. So here, why not build these oyster reefs, okay? Not only can we do all the things that we've talked about in this particular paragraph, but maybe we can also replace some of the coral reefs that we're losing due to global warming. So this just makes sense on so many different fronts. Oyster reefs, I believe, are the way to go. Anyways, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be learning about some living shorelines the world over. We're going to start by talking about Hong Kong.
In Hong Kong, researchers from the Nature Conservancy are planning to reintroduce 5 to 10 million oysters along the city's shores over the next 5 years. The waters around the territory are clogged with waste, and researchers believe the project could greatly improve water quality in the area, in addition to protecting the land from storm surges.
第二部分，我们看到名词 conservancy 指自然保护组织、自然保护区。例如 The Ocean Conservancy is a non-profit organization dedicated to protecting ocean ecosystems. 美国海洋保育协会是一个非营利组织，致力于保护海洋生态系统。或是 We plan to go to a conservancy in our trip to Kenya. 我们去肯亚旅行时打算参观自然保护区。接着我们看到单字 clog， 这个字是动词，指阻塞、堵塞、塞满。像是 Sandra's drain was clogged, so she had to call a plumber to come and fix it. Sandra 的水管堵塞了，所以她得请水电工来修理。或是The filter system for the swimming pool was clogged up with leaves. 游泳池里的过滤系统被叶子塞住了。另外，这个字的字首加上 un 就成了反义动词 unclog， 意思是使畅通、疏通。我们可以说 Ben unclogged the sink with a plunger. Ben 使用吸盘疏通水槽。
And welcome back. So we are looking at living shorelines, specifically shorelines made with oyster shells. And in Hong Kong, things are already being done to implement living shorelines. There, researchers from the Nature Conservancy are planning to reintroduce 5 to 10 million oysters along the city's shores over the next 5 years. That's a lot of oysters, 5 to 10 million. So the waters around the territory, the waters around Hong Kong, are clogged with waste, and researchers believe the project could greatly improve water quality in the area, in addition to protecting the land from storm surges.
It says here the waters. The waters around the territory are clogged with waste. Yeah, this is kind of a disgusting image for me. Yeah, when I think of a clog usually, or something clogging up my pipes, let's say in my bathroom, I think of a situation where I can't flush the toilet, or the sink won't drain because it's clogged, or it has a clog. The water can't flow like it's supposed to. Now, that's in a bathroom. Here we're talking about waters surrounding Hong Kong. Apparently, these waters can't flow normally because they're filled with waste or they're clogged with waste. How gross. But that's where the Nature Conservancy comes in. They're planning to reintroduce 5 to 10 million oysters along the city shores over the next 5 years. So yes, if they undertook this particular mission and they thought, hey, we're going to reintroduce these 5 to 10 million oysters, if they were going to do that in a month, I would say that's impossible. In a year, that's kind of tough. But they're going to do this slowly but surely, gradually over the next 5 years. This seems like it might actually work.
Right. It seems like the time frame is workable for introducing 5 to 10 million oysters. And it does seem like a good idea, especially when you consider how much pollution there is in the waterways around Hong Kong. So this is one example of using nature to fight something without causing more damage and also staying within a particular budget.
There you go. This is something they can actually do, and we know how good oysters are. If you go ahead and put those oyster reefs up, the next thing you know, you'll have a barrier reef. There'll be a food source for fish and other marine life there. You'll be cleaning the pollution out of that water. It's just a win-win-win-win-win situation for everyone involved. Way to go, Hong Kong. Now, next, we're going to take a short break here. When we come back, we'll be talking about another one of the world's great cities, New York City.
The researchers were inspired by a much larger effort in New York City called the Billion Oyster Project. This nonprofit organization aims to plant 1 billion oysters across 100 acres in New York Harbor by 2035. It has involved more than 6,000 middle and high school students and almost 10,000 volunteers, as well as over 75 New York restaurants that have provided leftover oyster shells as homes for new oysters. It seems this seafood delicacy is beginning to do double duty, satisfying our bellies and helping to save the environment all at once.
第三部分，我们看到单字 non-profit 这个字是形容词，指非盈利的，字首 non 表示无、缺乏。例如 The non-profit organization provides help and support to the homeless. 那个非盈利机构是提供游民协助和支援。另外，补充2个有字首 non 的单字。第一 non-stop 这个字可以是形容词或副词，指不休息的、不停的。像是 Bella's schedule has been non-stop since she returned from her vacation. Bella 自从放假回来后，她的行程都没有停过。或是 Peter has been working non-stop in order to finish the project before he leaves on vacation. Peter 不眠不休的工作，只为了赶在放假前完成这项计划。第二 nonsense 这个字可以是名词或形容词，指胡说八道、无意义的话、胡闹。举例来说The little girl was talking nonsense when she told me the story. 小女孩告诉我那个故事时都在胡说八道。或是 I have no idea what the man was saying, for he kept using nonsense words. 我不晓得那个人在说什么，他一直在胡扯。最后，我们看到形容词 leftover, 指吃剩的、余留的。举例来说 The leftover chicken was cut up for a salad. 吃剩的鸡肉被切来做沙拉。另外，这个字也可以是名词，意思是残留物、吃剩的饭菜，作此意时常用复数形。我们可以说 Amy had some leftovers for dinner since she was too tired to cook. Amy 晚餐吃了一些剩菜，因为她累到不想煮饭。
So Hong Kong isn't the only city, the only place in the world that is using oysters to clean its waters and to protect its shores. Hong Kong actually got this idea from another city, and that is New York City. The researchers were inspired by a much larger effort in New York City called the Billion Oyster Project. This nonprofit organization, that is the Billion Oyster Project, aims to plant 1 billion oysters across 100 acres in New York Harbor by 2035. So it sounds like the New York City project is much bigger because it aims to plant 1 billion oysters instead of 5 to 10 million oysters across 100 acres in New York Harbor. Now, an acre is a unit of measurement that's used in the United States, and it's used for land surface. So an acre is equal to 4,047 square meters, and it's usually used to talk about big tracts of land. For instance, I could say the farmer owns 5 acres of land.
Wow, that's a lot of land. 5 acres. Now, 5 acres is a lot of land, and get this. There in New York Harbor, they're going to spread 1 billion oysters across 100 acres of land. So this is quite the undertaking. How cool. And yes, people in Hong Kong heard about this project, and they were inspired to act similarly. Maybe the project won't be as big as it is in New York there, but still, 5 to 10 million oysters, they're going to have a positive impact on things. Now, it says here that this project has involved more than 6,000 middle and high school students and almost 10,000 volunteers, as well as over 75 New York restaurants that have provided leftover oyster shells as homes for new oysters. Oh, how about that? How cool. Everyone is pitching in. Anyways, here it says that there are 10,000 volunteers. Volunteers are people who work for free. They're not interns, okay? That's something else. Volunteers. They give their time to a worthy cause, and they do not ask for money in return.
That's right. Interns are not supposed to work for free. They're supposed to get paid, even if the pay is very little. But if you volunteer at a place, then you agree to work for free. For instance, an animal shelter might need volunteers to help take care of its cats and dogs. So in this Billion Oyster Project in New York City, many students were involved, as many as 6,000 middle and high school students, and almost 10,000 volunteers. That's a lot of volunteers. So oysters seem to be performing a double duty, it says here. It seems this seafood delicacy is beginning to do double duty, satisfying our bellies and helping to save the environment all at once. So here, oysters are being referred to as a seafood delicacy. A delicacy is a rare or expensive type of food. So other delicacies might be caviar, which are fish eggs, or a particular kind of mushroom called porcini mushroom, or truffles because they're difficult to find or very expensive. These are all delicacies. So oysters are a seafood delicacy, and they're doing double duty because not only are they being used for natural shorelines, but they're also satisfying our bellies. They make us happy when we eat them, especially when people love seafood and love eating oysters. And they're helping the environment, so they're doing two good things at once.
Yeah, oysters are the gift that keep on giving. Wow, oysters are amazing. So you could eat an oyster and then the restaurant, okay, where you ate that particular oyster could then donate that leftover oyster shell and help build that oyster reef grow bigger and bigger and bigger to give more and more oysters a new home. So there you go. You might be eating oyster harvested from one of these reefs, and then later on that will become a home for another oyster. How about that? It's the cycle of life, the gift that keeps on giving. Oyster reefs are awesome. They're pretty much the solution to all of our problems. And I'm not kidding here. Oyster reefs really do seem like the wave of the future. Yes, these are living shorelines, and boy, are they good at fighting nature. We're using nature to fight nature, everyone, and I'm loving it.
Right. Now, as for eating oysters, I'm not so sure about that, especially when we consider what oysters eat. They're used as filters for water pollution. So for some people, maybe that's not really important because they're just focusing on the taste of oysters. But for other people who have more active imagination, maybe that would make oysters not so tempting to eat.
Yeah, maybe right now when those waters are still polluted, you might want to think twice about eating those oysters. Who knows what they've been eating, but once they've cleaned the pollution out of the water, have at it. The water is clean and the oysters are no longer digging in on pollution. Anyways, folks, with that, our lesson is now in the books, and it's time for you guys to hear from the Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第二部分提到，在香港大自然保护协会的研究员计划在城市沿岸再增生500万到1000万棵的牡蛎。那这边有一个补充单字是 conservancy。Conservancy 它表示自然保护组织、自然保护区，那它是来自动词 conserve。 我们来学它的字首字根。好， SERV 这个字根它表示保存、服务或是留意、确保安全。那像在 service 这个字呢，它不是有服务效劳的意思吗？那它就是由 SERV 再加上抽象名词字尾 ICE 而来的。好，那我们看 conserve 这个字当中，它的字首 CON 是做强调用， SERVE 这部分表示保存，强调保存的重要性，这样应该可以容易联想到 conserve 它有保存、保育、保护的意思。这边顺便帮同学们来区分一下 reserve、preserve 还有 conserve 的用法。这3个动词似乎都有保存的意思，可是它们语义不太一样哦。首先 reserve 当动词，它有保存、保留、预约的意思。好，我们来看它的2个用法。第一个呢，是可以用来指说预先保留某事物，以便日后可以用，像是 reserve this bottle of champagne for a special occasion， 就是说把这瓶香槟留到特殊的日子再喝。那么第二个用法呢， reserve 可以用来表达预定餐厅的位置啊，或是预定机票等等。像我们可以说 reserve a table for 4， 就是说预定一桌4个人的位置。好，再来看 preserve， 它当动词有维护、维持、保存的意思。一样来看它的2个用法。首先第一个，它常常用来指说维持某事物原本的样子，或是维持良好状态，也可以表达使什么免于受损、免于受伤害、免于摧毁。我们常常用 preserve 这个动词来表达维护历史建筑啊，保存某个文化、保存某个传统等等的。像是 preserve the city's historical buildings， 维护这个城市的历史建筑。那第二个用法 preserve， 它可以表达维持、保存食物的新鲜，不让它腐烂。像 preserve the freshness of the vegetables， 就可以表达保存蔬菜的新鲜度。好，那么再来看 conserve， 它有保存、保护、节省的意思。那一样来看它2种用法。第一种呢，可以用来表达使什么安全、免于伤害、摧毁。当这个意思来解释时，意思就跟 preserve 差不多。那我们常常会用 conserve 来表达保护自然资源，像是保护森林、保护野生动物，使这个自然环境免于遭受破坏。像我们可以说 conserve natural resources， 就表示保护天然资源。那第二个用法 conserve 它可以用来表达节约使用，像是节约能源啊、省水等等。像我们可以说 conserve electricity， 就表示节省电力。好，那么以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Marine. Oscar loves watching marine animals, and that is why his favorite place to go is the aquarium. Filter. You should filter this water before you drink it, or else it may make you sick. Pollution. Air pollution levels are high today, so people who have difficulty breathing should stay indoors. Acre. The fire burned down several acres of forest, but fortunately it missed people's homes. Volunteer. The animal shelter is looking for volunteers to take the dogs for walks. Delicacy. Bird's nest soup is a delicacy in China.
Discussion Starter starts now!
All right, everyone. Now it's time for our discussion starter. Hey, Helen, why do you think living shorelines are better for marine life than concrete seawalls?
Well, I think that living shorelines are the way to go because they are using nature to fight nature, and so there is no erosion involved, and so I do hope that more cities, more places around the world will begin to adopt living natural shorelines.
There you go. I think the answer, it all comes down to reefs. Because concrete seawalls don't really make for good reefs, living shorelines are the way to go. If you plant enough oysters, you'll have an oyster reef there, and that's pretty much good for everyone involved, including those forms of marine life. Yes, they can live there, they can shelter there, and they can also use this particular reef as a source of food.
Well, this is the end of our program. We hope you had a great time with us today. Hope you can join us again. From all of us here, I'm Helen.
I'm Jeff. See you next time.